is my overview of my map, Terrace. Now, my previous upload had some technical difficulties. I've addressed one or two of them, but I think my audio may still be scuffed. So, not sure what I'm going to do about that. May try to add subtitles, uh, or just let the gameplay somewhat speak for itself. We will see. Um, so, quick history on this. The map was originally named Terrace because I had an idea wherein the map would be built on like a giant farm terrace, like a race field terrace. But as I iterated, I ended up going with still keeping the agricultural theme, but the shape language of the terrace was lost in the process. That being said, um, I don't know, it's the name I used at first, so I kept it. Uh, Other thing is that this map was very heavily inspired by Rust, which is one of my favorite maps in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Um, and one of the things that that map had was this idea of multiple high grounds that were connected. In particular, it even had a similar thing where it had a pipe that would act as a secondary high ground. One of the things that that map got a lot of flack for was that the pipe was too powerful and that the sight lines were really, really massive. You can essentially see the entire map when you were up here. So to counteract that, my map has built-in uh, guardrails that essentially block the player's line of sight and prevent them from being able to look wherever they want. Essentially, you only have these little nooks and crannies you can see out of, which limits the effectiveness of the spot. On top of that, there's a couple of other smaller things. Stuff like the roofs in this map were specifically placed to cut off sight lines for the high ground while also allowing lateral gunplay. And then also, this pipe is high enough up that if you fall off it, it is lethal fall damage, which means that unlike the other game, you aren't able to fail as easily if you go to that high ground. So yeah, let's see if this happens. I apologize for technical difficulties. Still trying to figure out how to do this. So this is Philo, which is the center point of the map. There's some stuff going on here, and with the warehouse attached to it. That being said, because I'm an assault rifle on this life, I think I'm gonna go die actually. What I'm gonna go do is go explore the south side of the map. That is more designed for mid to long range gunplay. Anyways, I spawned on the other side of the map, so I'm gonna go take this guy out over here. And then go up the pipe. Shut that off. Right. Please learn during this process how absolutely final spawn locations are. I completely underestimated them and how much they can change gunplay. Anyways, yep, here's the very, very wonderful high ground. If I had a sniper rifle, this would be better, but this is where you can get a lot of range damage. I think that it would be weaker against human opponents who are more cognizant of this location's power. That being said, I did my best to make it implicitly not as powerful as it otherwise would be, while also making it a fun place to beat. Again, a little bit less powerful because the groups here. Anyways, oh, cool. There's also a spawn point up here. if you're gonna camp it, you are more than likely gonna get people straight off the bat. So I'm gonna head into I mean, yeah, spiral staircases and there. Okay. That was the pipe. I've shown some of that side of the map. Cool. Spawn somewhere where I can show closer. Kill on that. I'm gonna head through here. Silo itself. And then also this indoor factory area. Factory where interchangeably. It's usually pretty hot. A little too close apparently. Okay. A little difficult. I feel like you try to get through a guide and play the game. Let's see if we can get one more like good light. All right, cool. This is one of my favorite areas. Which this side of the map does not have a building, which was a design choice I really wanted. I wanted to have an indoor map or an outdoor map akin to Rust and akin to Favela, which is another one of my favorite COD maps. That being said, outdoor maps are kind of a bad idea because it just ends up kind of being boring. So what I ended up doing is that I ended up adding all these artificial walls and the roof, which ends up creating an area of the map that is, by and large, has walls and roofs, but it's not indoors. I promise. It just has walls and roofs. I'm trying to essentially keep the vibes of an indoor building, at least some of the CCTV building, without doing it, but I can still have the vibe of a large outdoor area. And I can also go underneath. People always forget. People on other games always forget. You can go underneath the highway all the time. That is also be focused. Killing CQB by sniper. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good amount of